Um, I think we're live. I'm not sure. I'm giving this a second. I'm sorry. Let's see. I'm just giving a chance. My guest is late, just in case if I am. Um, wait, having trouble to possibly the stream was ended or come on. Uh, okay, I got two fixed while I'm waiting for my while I'm waiting for my guest to come on. Let's see if I could fix this. Um, Cancel. No, I don't want to remove it. I just want to fix it. Ugh, come on. Sorry, people. Let's see what's going on here. It's not. Okay, let me see. Edit. I said, give me a second. My guest is running a little bit late. There was an accident, and he was having issues. Let me see. Okay, this is not letting me do it this way. The problem with live. Okay, so it looks like my Rumble feed is acting up. Damn it. Okay. The show's going to have to go on. Well, welcome to the Rican show. And today's guest will be Mr. Don Bochinche. For people who don't speak Spanish, that means gossip. But he's more than that. He'll tell you that he's a really smart guy, but he'll act like he's not. And we're going to talk about stuff that's going on in New York City today. There's a lot of stuff that's going on between the Daniel Perry, Jordan Neely stuff that people are protesting. I want to get his opinion on. We're going to talk about the immigrant crisis that's going on, and how the mayor's a joke, and talk about the planned congestion tax in New York City that's going on, where people are going to, creative minds. Yeah, I know there's a delay. I don't know if it's my internet connection or if it's my computer. I think I'm going to have to just clean everything out of my computer. Oh, great. There we go again. Great. Great. I don't know what the hell is going on. Come on. Okay, let me close some of these windows. Maybe that'll help a little bit. Creative minds, if you're there, let me know. I think Don's coming on. I just heard the click. But with my computer acting up, Don, if you could hear me, give me a second because my computer has been acting up. I heard there was a click. Come on. Okay, I hope I don't have to close these windows because I wanted to talk about these stories, and I don't know if this is what's slowing down my computer. Okay, let's see. Let's close this window. Let's give it another window closed. Can you log up? I don't know.
Yo, what's up?
I could hear you, but I don't know if.
I
Let me
can
see.
hear you and I can see you.
I could hear you, but I can't see you.
I don't know, bro.
I know it's my I don't know if it's because I have too many windows open because I had a couple of stories up. Um,
I know on the bottom it says you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you.
Let me see. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I need to get a new computer. Um, it gives me an excuse to get a new computer.
Okay, okay. What's
But
going on, brother?
not much. Long time no speak.
Nah, just chilling, laying low.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Sometimes you just need to take a break from all the craziness that's going on in the world.
Nah, I'm not. I don't take a break. Matter of fact,
Well,
I'm gonna go live on Instagram from my other phone.
go right ahead. Push people on over here. Let them know.
Yeah, let's
Let me
go.
see if I. You know what? Let me see. You know what I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna have to redo the link. I'm gonna see if I could refresh it, and if anything, I'll resend you a link.
All right, so I'm gonna stay on. I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah, don't stay. Yeah, stay on for now. If anything happens, I'll pop on your Instagram live to let you know what's going on. Let me see.
Yo, yo, yo. Hello. All right. Well, I don't know what's going on.
Can't hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yo, where you at? Oh, here we go. Yo.
Yep, there we go. Finally,
All
I
right, hold on. Let me go live from the other side. Where the fuck is my IG on the other phone? Here we go. Let me do my intro on
go right ahead.
Instagram Live. Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm your boy, Mr. Don Bochinche, CEO and founder of Bochinche News Network. And welcome to another episode of Blowing Smoke. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing a live show on Instagram and also a live show on YouTube with the Right Rican. What's going on? So ladies and gentlemen, tune in right now on YouTube, the Right Rican. You heard?
So Creative Minds wants to know what cigars you smoke.
What happened?
Creative Minds is asking what cigars you smoke.
This cigar right now is called El Toro, Dominican tobacco, $8, full body. And when people, ladies and gentlemen, when people say full body, that means a strong cigar.
Ah.
Ah.
Or you're smoking it all. You're always smoking it for the show, so I know. Your cigars.
Yeah, I know a little bit of cigars. I'm not. Heights Chronicles. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Right now on Instagram, I am doing two live shows. I'm on YouTube right now and on Instagram. So, ladies and gentlemen, Heights Chronicles was good. Go to the Right Rican right here. Me and this brother right here. The Right Rican is blurry,
Right,
but
Rican.
fuck it. The right Rican. So what's going on? What we doing tonight?
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on in New York. So, the hot button topic right now is that whole. I know you didn't want to talk about it, but I just wanted your opinion on that whole Jordan Neely. What's his name? Daniel Penny stuff.
Jordan Neely, the young man who was who was choked.
Yeah, that he was. Well, there's a couple of things. Well, let me get your opinion first before I say anything, because I don't want to bias your opinion.
All right, so obviously it's fucked up. Ladies and gentlemen, on Instagram, I'm doing a live show on YouTube with the right Rican. So if I'm not paying attention, looking at you motherfuckers, I'm over here on YouTube. All right. So the situation, obviously, the brother Jordan Neely did not have to die. Yes, a bunch of reports are coming out that he was threatening or being aggressive on the train. And I know I don't like to do the Monday morning quarterback, which is the should've, could've, would've. But in this situation, if there's somebody on the train who's being fucking crazy, when the train gets to the next station, when that door opens up, you football that motherfucker off the train. There's no need to choke anybody. I understand that Jordan Neely suffered from mental health, and it's fucked up what happened that caused him to suffer from mental health. So everybody's talking about that there's no mental health, that the mental health. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, in 2015, the wife of former Mayor de Blasio, her name is Miss McCray. Her organization called Thrive New York was awarded $850 million in 2015, ladies and gentlemen. In 2015, this organization, started by Miss McCray, the former Mayor de Blasio's wife, was awarded $850 million to tackle, to combat, to try to help the mental health crisis in 2015. A year later, or a couple of years later, whatever the fuck the time is, they mismanaged this money. How the fuck you mismanage $850 million? That is what we need to talk about.
Oh,
now, don't get me wrong. From 2016 to 2018, Thrive New York did some good things. They purchased approximately 200,000 of those needles. When somebody catches an OD, you hit them with the needle, and it's supposed to bring them back.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. It starts with an N. I forget the name of.
Yeah, it starts with an N. They purchased approximately 200,000 of those needles, gave out to the hospitals. Also, from 2016 to 2018, they followed, or they from 2016 to 2018, approximately 29,000 women gave birth. Out of the 29,000, approximately 567 suffered from postpartum depression or mental health or some type of. Okay, they did some. They did something good. Okay, a little bit. Now, if Thrive New York did what they were supposed to do, just maybe this brother by the name of Jordan Neely would have gotten his services. $850 million. How you fuck up that money? Miss McCray sat in front of the city council, and the bitch put the threw the next person under the bus. I guess the CFO or the person handling the money. Ladies and gentlemen, on Instagram right now, I am doing a live show on YouTube with the brother, the right Rican. So the city failed Jordan Neely Because with $850 million, you can put some mental health programs throughout the fucking city. Okay? Not only did and I know I'm probably gonna get some backlash, but not only did the city fail Jordan Neely, but the family of Jordan Neely failed him. Now, I did speak about this, and I get it. Maybe the family tried to help. I'm sure the family tried to help. I'm sure the family found programs. I'm sure the family, got this brother some jobs. But then sometimes the family woke up and said, yo, I can't help you no more because I got my own shit I got to deal with. So for me, the root of this whole mental health crisis that's happening today is because Miss McCray mismanaged $850 million. People got paid. People got paid under the table. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know.
Oh, it's corruption at its finest. You see, people forget what you're bringing up right now. People forget that they they want to call it mismanagement of money, but to me, that's just our corruption. They probably, pocketed that money. They said they did some good things, but that's to mask all the money that they laundered.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. It's money. Okay, we're going to use city money. We're going to give it to an organization run by the mayor's wife. And then when she mismanages the money, we're going to go, oh, oopsie, we don't know what we did with that money. Like, seriously?
And mind you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if anybody who's watching, if you're in the medical field, right? Mental health is a medical problem, right? Is it? I don't know, Mr. Rican. Let me know.
What falls in the medical field? Anything?
It falls in the medical field, right?
Yeah.
Miss McCray doesn't have a medical degree.
Oh, of course not. It's like,
so how the fuck I'm gonna sit in front of the city council and tell those motherfuckers, yo, give me $850 million. Okay, Mr. Don Bochinche, what the fuck you gonna do with this $850 million? I'm gonna tackle the mental health crisis here in New York City.
Well, I'll use this as an example, not to get into the story, but it came out that like the mainstream media really didn't cover this, but the Biden family got money from foreign oligarchs, like in Romania and stuff. His granddaughter, who's single digits, I don't know how old she is exactly, got $100,000 from an LLC that the money was put into the LLC, then given to the granddaughter.
Hold on. There's a question. My boy on Instagram, ladies and gentlemen, Heights Chronicle says the root of the mental health issue started from the ships on the way here. I don't know what that means.
I know what he means. He's trying to. It all goes back to the slavery.
Yeah, I understand.
I get what he's saying, but
I'm not. Hold on. I'm not here to knock slavery. It's fucked up what happened back then.
Yeah, but this is what kills me
about. We can't keep blaming shit on
we can't. But this is the whole thing. People act, and I don't know if your friend is one of these people. Like slavery was an American problem. Slavery was a worldwide problem. The word slave comes from Slav, which are Polish people, or like that area of Europe, because they were people would that's where they would get the slaves from. And this is the whole thing. Slavery was a business. It wasn't only here in America. You had Africans capturing neighboring tribes and selling them to the Europeans. You had
the right weekend. I'm sorry. I know this is your show, and I don't want to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I'm just tired of, shit is fucked up in 2023. So we're gonna blame some shit that happened 700-800 years ago.
I agree with you.
I know you do. So that's the situation with Jordan Neely. He should have not died. He failed him. His family failed him.
But at the same time, this guy shouldn't be charged with a crime, because what would it have taken? Because this is the whole thing. This guy's been arrested for pushing people off a train, off the train into the train tracks. This guy was arrested for kidnapping. This guy had, and I'm not just saying that this justifies his death, but it justifies someone trying to keep everybody else safe. Especially you're talking about a guy who was in the military, the guy that's in the military, wanting just to keep people safe. Because this is the whole thing. This is the part that they don't talk about.
Yeah, but the military dude. But the military dude should have known, like, yo, if I put somebody in the chokehold and I hold for a certain amount of time, I can kill somebody.
Yes, but this is the problem.
But
you have to put that hold until they stop.
But this is what we're doing. We're Monday morning quarterback, right?
I agree. But what I'm saying is I'm not saying that it's messed up that he died. No one's saying, but I guarantee you this. Answer me this question. If that Marine was black, would we be talking about it right now?
No.
That's the sad thing.
If
we want to make
if the Marine was a person of color, black, brown, whatever, yellow, this would not be a big topic.
No, I agree with you 100%. That's what annoys.
I said what I said.
That's what annoys the hell out of me. It's because the fact that the system didn't do their part. No, I agree. But that's the whole thing.
That's what I'm saying.
If it was white on white, if it was black on black, or if the Marine was black and the guy was white, we wouldn't be talking about this story.
Hold on. My boy Heights Chronicle says he's retired and a civilian. He's retired and civilians don't have the right to become law enforcement.
Bullshit.
I kind of disagree with you with that. Heights Chronicles, I'm sorry, YouTube people. I disagree with you with that. I kind of disagree with that, Heights Chronicles.
I agree 100% with that.
Because if your mother's walking down the street and I'm walking down the street and I see that your mother gets punched in the motherfucking face, you want...
Exactly.
And I know your mother, hold on, and I know your mother, right? Hypothetically, Heights Chronicles, your mother, your wife, your grandmother, your aunt is walking down the street. I say bendición. And she says, Dios te bendiga, Don Bochinche. And a man comes and punches your aunt, your grandmother, your mother, your wife, your sister in the face. And I come and I fuck this nigga up. I fuck him up. Now you're going to agree with me. You see, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm going to use an example of what happened in Philadelphia. This happened in Philadelphia. There was a young lady on a train in Philadelphia. She got raped on a train full of people, full of men who didn't do a fucking thing to stop her from getting raped. And the whole thing is stuff like this that happened with this guy is that if the fact that he's even getting charged is going to prevent other people from wanting to step in the case of something happening. Because he's going to be like, I don't want to get arrested.
Yeah.
That's my problem with it. My problem is, look, I feel bad for him and his family that this guy died. But now, how many more people are going to be hurt? Because let's say you're on the train and you seen some guy get the shit beat out of him. Some girl get the shit beat out of him. What if you end up going and you push him off the woman, he hits his head against the rail and dies? Well, you didn't mean to kill him. You were just protecting that girl that was getting the shit beat out of her. But now the city wants to come and charge you with a crime because you were protecting someone else. People aren't going to want to deal with that nonsense.
Yeah. All I know, yo, Ed, what's up? All I know is that if Thrive New York would have did what they were supposed to do, the right thing, like I said, just maybe these individuals that suffer from mental health would have been getting their programs. Not to say that people would not flip out. You know, people still flip out with services rendered.
I mean, this is nothing new. This is nothing new. I mean, it's been a long time since I lived in New York, but I remember going in trains and a crazy person gets on the train and I leave that car and go to the next car because I don't want to be around that crazy motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because you never know. Someone's going to flip out. They may, they may try to push you off the track. They may try to, do something to you, and you just there sitting in the train trying to get home from work, trying to go to work. It's, it's nothing new.
Yeah.
But like you said, the money was allocated to take care of these people, and the people who took the money, no accountability was given to them. Why? Because it was the mayor's wife.
That's true.
But here's the problem. Where's the change in New York? Look at the difference between Eric Adams and you had Silva. Silva's not a real Republican. Silva's a New York Republican. A New York Republican is Democrat light. Okay? For people who go like, oh my God, he was a Republican, I'm going to vote Democrat. You look at his policies, he wasn't a conservative, he wasn't extreme Republican, he was just Democrat light, and people didn't vote for him because his name had an R in front of it. Okay, the last mayor to clean up New York City had an R in front of his name. It was Mayor Giuliani, and people may have hated his policies, and they may hate him as a person, but it's because of him. We had the safest city in the country. The safest big city in the world, it was New York City under Giuliani. And after Giuliani,
so your question, the right Rican. So your question, your question, or your what you just said. Hold on.
Go ahead.
You just said, where's the change in New York City? The from what I see, maybe you can Google, or somebody on Instagram can Google how many people voted in the last mayoral election.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was maybe if tops 25% of New York City voted in the mayor race.
How many people in New York City? 8 million?
8 million.
25%. How much is that? 1.6 million? Is it? I don't know.
No, it'd be 2 million.
It'll be 2 million.
Yeah.
I think less than 1.5 million. I'll say less than 2 million people voted.
So that's about 20%. Right. Of the total population of New York City.
So there's never going to be change.
Well, the problem is there's not going to be change
because
the
20% that vote, all right, the 80% that don't vote, they don't vote for whatever reason, and rightfully so. But the 20% is always going to vote Democrat.
Yeah, that's they don't. The problem is.
Complete shithole.
Complete shithole.
That's what Italian Queen says New York is a complete shithole.
If once they pass that congestion pricing bullshit, I don't know if you saw the story.
I heard about it. That's crazy. Anything south of what?
South of 60.
South of 60th Street. My man Edwin Vargas says 23% voted.
Okay, yeah,
so we was off by a couple.
We were off by. I said 25. So you said
I said 20.
So 23%. I mean.
All right. So hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm doing a live show here on YouTube. With the right Rican. So if you don't want to watch the live show here because I'm paying more attention over here, just come to the right Rican on YouTube. We're live right now.
Yep. So
and I think obviously for years. We all know that New York City is a blue state. We're always going to vote. But maybe, like I've said this 1,000 times, maybe we got to give the other side an opportunity to try to fix the shit that's going on in New York City. Well, we got to try to give them an opportunity.
Well, this is the whole thing. You look at what happened. Look what happened in the between Koch and Dinkins. And how the crime in New York City was out of control. There was, I think, there was like 2,000 or 3,000 murders a year. And the first time Giuliani ran, he lost. Yeah. He lost. And then the second time, when enough people died, they were like, "Oh shit, we got to do something different here."
Oh, hold on. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. Yeah, my man G187 said, we 12 years. We had Bloomberg. My bad. We had Bloomberg for 12 years.
Yeah, but Bloomberg is. He wasn't. I think the first time he ran as a Republican, and then the other couple of times he ran as an independent. And now, now he's back to being a Democrat. Because remember, he just ran. He ran for president as a Democrat and as a Republican.
I think things were great under Giuliani. I was still young. I didn't know much about.
I'm there with you too because we're about the same age.
But I think under Bloomberg things were better as well. I'm not saying things were fucking excellent.
Because he didn't try to change Giuliani. It wasn't broke, so he didn't try to fix it. So like he kept Giuliani's policing policies. It's once you get freaking what's his name, DeBozo. Once you get DeBozo and he's bringing in these policies where this cashless bail, trying to lessen crimes, like changing felonies to misdemeanors, just so like that you could stop. So you could, play numbers games with the crimes. So you could say, hey, there was less felonies because we charge people with misdemeanors. It doesn't matter. They stab someone. We're going to charge them with a misdemeanor, weapons charge instead of, attempted murder. And that's what goes, that's what's going on in New York City is the fact that you have these policies that are light on crime. These people, this guy got arrested. What the hell? Can you still see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, my computer went. Like I said, my computer's acting. There we go. What's going on in New York City is that when you're soft on crime, this is what Giuliani's broken windows theory did. If you enforce the minor crimes, and sometimes you're going to get a bigger fish. Like let's say, for example, someone jumping the turnstile. You grab him. You run his name in and you see and you learn, oh, wait, this guy who just jumped the turnstile, he has an arrest warrant out for assault, battery, rape. Okay, let's bring him in. As opposed to you don't bring the guy in, you just let him walk because, hey, he just jumped the turnstile. Well, you know what? You don't know what other crimes that person's committed. Now, if they're clean and they was just some idiot who jumped the turnstile, then you can let them go. But if you don't bring them in to run to see what else they have, then you can't giving everyone the slap on the wrist doesn't make the city safe.
Hold on.
What are some of the comments?
The Italian queen says they are not abiding. She's talking about the politicians. Italian queen says they are not abiding by the oath that they took to the Constitution. Then she says politicians take an oath to the Constitution to protect our rights, not trample on it.
Well, here's the tricky thing. You had people who like what was it? Stop and frisk.
Yeah.
People hated stop and frisk because they said they targeted people of color. But here's the whole thing. It targeted people of color, but didn't it also help people of color when you were stopping and frisking the people in the corners selling drugs or the people with guns in the corners?
My boy G187 says people are slow. They don't care if it's safe or not. If it's safe, they don't need more money.
Well, no, I mean, people, here's the whole thing. It's like, this is what I hate about the two-party system, is that people get stuck on one side and then instead of thinking logically for themselves, they'll go, oh, well, because the Republicans are for it, I'm against it. Because the Democrats are for it, I'm against it.
Yeah.
It's like, think for your damn self. Think for your damn self.
So what you're saying is that we should not have a two-party system at all. We shouldn't have Democrats or Republicans.
No, I'm not saying that. I just think we should have multiple parties. I think we should have a system where, let's say, for example, because they'll be like, oh, well, if you vote for a third party, then you're wasting your vote. Well, there's something called like what they call down ticket, or was it? No, it's called it's called like rank voting or something like that. So let's say if you want to vote,
Yeah,
for
the rank voting. So
no,
if you vote for one guy, if he doesn't get most of the votes, your vote goes to that third guy. If that third guy don't get it, it goes to the second guy. And if the second guy, whatever, yeah.
I think crazy. I think it's like basically if whoever your first vote is, if they don't get a certain amount of votes, then it'll go to your second person.
Yeah.
So if for the people who hate Trump, but you hate Biden, you don't want to see neither one of them win. You want to vote for whatever third party, Green Party, Libertarian Party, choose whichever party. Let's say Gary Johnson ran as a Libertarian a couple of years ago. You knew he was going to lose, so you go, okay, I'm going to vote Gary Johnson, but damn, I don't know who's going to be my second. Maybe you don't want to put a second. Maybe you don't want to vote for Trump or Biden. Maybe you do. But
the Italian queen says she's basically referring to the politicians. The Italian queen says they need to be put back in their box. They are public servants. They work for us.
I agree.
Italian queen also says this is what people need to talk about. And she also says this is what the system doesn't want you to know.
Well, here's the whole thing. What the politicians, the problem with what's going on there is the fact that these politicians, like I was talking with someone the other day about these politicians, how is it that they're 50 years in office, like a Biden, like a McConnell, like a Chuck Schumer, like Nancy Pelosi. And notice, I didn't just name Democrats, or I named both Democrats and Republicans. Okay, so before people start bitching about that, both fucking sides do this bullshit. Okay, they get insider information and then go to the stock market and trade it. So when they know they're gonna go, oh, okay, we're gonna pass a bill that says we're gonna go only to electric cars. So what do? Okay, so we're gonna start buying electric car stocks and we're gonna start dumping oil stocks. Okay, but we let them do that. We don't go, okay, let's vote these motherfuckers out who've been there for 50 years, enriching themselves and putting people in who are going to go, you know what, this is illegal. Someone put, Creative Minds puts, New York City is going the route of being exempt for the U.S. law. They're taking over. That's why so many people are leaving the city. They don't want rules and want to take over and say F the government. I think the problem with what's going on in New York City is identity politics.
I think the problem is, number one, people are not voting, and those of us who do vote, right, we're voting for the same thing, just a different individual. We keep voting for the same shit, thinking that we're gonna get different results.
That's called insanity.
Yeah. Right?
New York is insane.
Every morning on my Instagram story, for the most part, I take a video of a construction site and I put the Bronx jail.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They are going to spend approximately $800 million to $1 billion building that jail, which is 5 blocks, I would say less than 5 up to 5 blocks away from a school.
Yeah.
So I put it up not basically for the politicians. I put it up because there's still a lot of people in the Bronx that don't know that there's a jail being built.
Yeah.
And every morning for a long time, for a couple of weeks, there was a lady sitting behind me and she sees that I'm recording. And then one day she asked me, she says, "Look, can I ask you something?" I said, "Yeah, what happened?" She says, "Every morning you recording this site, this thing. And I said, yeah, because they're building a Bronx jail. She said, they building a Bronx jail? Since when? I was like, you don't know? She says, nah, I never knew anything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who still don't know. But yet they know who Bad Bunny fucking.
That's the sad thing. They pick and choose what they want to, but that's the whole thing. But that's what the media feeds them. It's what the media feeds them. It's like, instead of telling them the news, they tell them what to think. Like,
yeah. And don't get me wrong, this shit was all over the news. The News 12, Bronx 12 was talking about it. All the major media outlets was talking about it. Yes, there was not protests, but people were going downtown. I went to one of the where they were talking to the people who were gonna vote, that which borough should get a jail and shit like that. But not enough people showed up. And then what does the city do, right? Instead of hosting something that's going to happen in the Bronx, so that they do it downtown.
Of course.
They do, because they know that people are not going to show up.
No. I mean, that's why they do it. I mean, like I was talking about the congestion pricing. My parents live in the Lower East Side. So it's like, once they pass that congestion stuff.
Hold on, my boy Verdugo Edwin says, please stop acting as if the media is an enemy.
They are. I'm sorry, they are. You could act like they're an ally, but they're not, because both sides. Well, the media tells you what to think. They'll tell you a story based on their bias, and they'll act like this is what always annoys me. They'll act like, okay, let's say they'll bitch about Fox News being right wing, right?
Yeah.
But if Fox News is right wing, then what does that say about all the other networks?
They left wing, I guess.
Exactly. No, but that's the whole thing. But they'll go, we're not biased. We're down the middle, and you're like, no, you're full of shit. I'd rather you tell me that if you would go, I'm left wing, and my bias is left wing news, and I'm going to report news from my perspective. I respect that more than someone who tells me they're objective, they're unbiased. That's
my boy Edwin says you're looking at it all wrong.
Well, everybody, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but
That's true.
You could say I'm wrong. Yeah, I think I'm right. I read sources from both sides. I read MSNBC, CNN, Fox News. Tell me someone that leans left, that watches all sides of the story, that reads, show me someone on the left that goes, oh, I read Fox News.
I do my best. I the articles, I try to read both sides.
But you're an independent, because you're not a Republican and you're not a Democrat. You may consider yourself a Democrat.
Yeah.
But you have independent leanings.
Listen, all I know is I do read both sides, and I just formulate my own opinion from both sides of the fence.
Exactly. Because you read both sides, because you don't just keep yourself in one bubble.
It's like my boy Heights Chronicles. That's my brother from high school. That's my brother. Yeah, sometimes I post on my story. Sometimes I post shit that comes from the Republican side.
Yeah.
Right. And then sometimes I post shit from the Democrat side.
Yeah.
And we both come out arguing. And I'm like, yo, dude, I'm just posting shit. Because sometimes, for me, what I try to do is I'm trying to make people think. You don't have to agree with the post.
No.
Right, with what I'm saying. But sometimes, you gotta, sometimes, like my boy Verdugo, my boy Edwin, sometimes we clash.
Yeah.
Right. But that's just life. That's just, we got different upbringings. We come from the same neighborhood, same area. But,
well, you can have people, like I'll give you an example from my family. One time I was arguing with my cousin, right? And I told him we were fortunate to grow up with having uh both family, because both him and I, our parents have been married for a long time. My parents have been married for 55 years. I think his parents have been married for like 40 over 40 years.
Yeah.
And I told him we're fortunate that we have both our parents. And he goes, "You're racist." The fuck? We're both cousins. We both share the same blood, and I'm racist because I said we were fortunate that we both have fucking two parents. I'm like, are you serious? Are you that far gone into an ideology that I just said that we were lucky? Because not everybody we grew up with had that. You know, you
Yeah.
had people who had that were in single parent homes. You had people who were from broken homes that they were living with their grandmother because their parents were both junkies. We were fortunate where we grew up, that we grew up the way we grew up, and it had nothing to do with race. And I'm just there like, are you fucking kidding? We were both Puerto Rican. We both share the same blood, but you're so far gone in this thought process that if you just say something like that, you right away scream racist. And that boggles my mind how someone could just think by just saying something as simple as that, as saying we were fortunate to have two parents.
So the right Rican, you're a racist.
Yeah, if I'm racist, I wear that with a badge of honor, because to me, if saying I'm lucky to have two parents that, you know, my parents have been married for 55 years, that if that's racist, then so be it. Then you know what? I want my kids to be able to say they're racist, because I hope that I could be married for 55 years too.
All right, that's what's up, man. That's what's up.
But that's, you know, that isn't that crazy though? Just that little stupid thing, that you're so far gone into one side of an ideology that you call someone in your own family.
Yeah, the question, my boy Verdugo Ed
Uh,
says, the media is a tool. What would you consider the alternative to quote unquote media?
this, what we
He
do,
says this, what we're doing right now.
this is the new media.
He says this is, I'm sure you guys can hear it because I got both phones there, but he says this is the new media.
This is the new media. Conversations between people talking about stuff. I mean, I live in New York City no more, but I go to New York City. You're in New York City. You talking about the jail that you pass by all the time. I see the shit that's going on in my parents' neighborhood, in my mother-in-law's neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, this is you have citizen journalists now. You have, like, we're talking about the Jordan Neely.
He said we have citizen journalists. I like that.
Yeah, you have someone, the person who filmed the video of Jordan Neely and the Jordan Neely stuff.
Yeah.
He's actually if I'm not mistaken, he's a reporter for like a website. I think it's like Timcast.
Yeah.
And that's a citizen journalist. He just took out. You have your phone. If you want to stop, political corruption, film shit. It's like, don't just film cops doing shady shit. Film the politicians doing shady shit. Because you want to stop this corruption. You have a phone that could record live stream. You don't even have to record it and then put it up later. You could record that shit live.
That's true. So Ed, so he's basically saying this is the alternative to the quote unquote media, he says, dude, I'm saying many are having a misconception of what media is.
Well, like I said, this is social media, so it is a form of media. Now if you want to talk about, like I said, you could still get news from social media. That's why people go on Twitter, people go on Facebook, people go on Instagram. They get stories that news people promote on these platforms. But what's it any different?
My boy Ed wants to get on the live show on Instagram, but it's just too much. I'm fucking talking to you. I'm looking at them. I'm reading the questions. It's too much, Ed. Yo, Ed, I only went into the 6th grade. My brain could hold but so much.
You see, when I started this show, I told people you self-deprecate. You self-deprecate, but you're a smart motherfucker and you need to give yourself more credit than you do.
Nah. Yeah, matter of fact, Ed, you want him on my live? You don't have to. My man Ed says, bro, you don't have to look at me. Just listen. Yo, Ed, I'm gonna put you on, man. This motherfucker harassing me. And plus, Ed owe me money. Ed and his brother owe me money.
Oh, there you go.
Let me see.
Well, he could have went on my live stream. I could have gave him a link, and
Yeah, that's true too. You could have came on YouTube too. Ed owes me money. Him and his brother, because I was in a video and they punched me in my face, almost broke my jaw. But anyway. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna have you two guys talk. Yo, Ed. Ed, shut up. This is the right Rican. This is Verdugo, Edwin Vargas. All right, so I'm gonna flip the phone.
I'll see if I can hear him. I mean,
yeah, all right. Start talking.
All right. What I was saying, what I basically was referring to the media. Everybody always uses. Everybody they put themselves in a circle of groupthink when they say the media.
You know what? Hold up. Time out.
Wait up, Ed. Wait up.
The link I send you to get on here, just send it to him.
I can't send it to him because then I gotta end the live show. But I'm gonna give you his Instagram. You could do it.
What's his show called? I'll jump by. What's his show called?
Because I can't hear him.
Rican. It's on YouTube.
It's one word, right? Rican?
Yeah, all one word, right? 3 words all together, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you search it.
Don't matter.
If you search it, it's 3 separate words,
right?
But it doesn't matter.
Rican. There you go. I posted it up right there. The right Rican.
I'm gonna go look for it. I'm gonna jump on his page.
All right, Tato. He said he's gonna look for it and he's gonna.
Well,
I'm gonna jump on the
but
page.
I have to send him. the StreamYard link. You send me his profile?
Send it to him. Edwin gives he always gives a good perspective on shit.
Oh, I always like to hear different. My brother-in-law's a socialist, so I mean, I'm used to arguing people that don't agree with me.
But I do agree. What we doing now, right? This is the new media.
What's his name? You said
Verdugo.
Spell it.
All right, hold on. Let me get it. Verdugo. The letter VER. DUGO. The number is 1214. Verdugo 1214.
Well, okay, there it comes up.
Yo, Ed, if you're still watching, he's gonna send you a link. You copy that link into your browser, and then you follow the instructions. But I do agree that this is the new form of media, because when you do turn on Fox, CNN, Channel 5, Channel 4, wherever you at, they just gonna say, hey, today in New York City, 5,000 migrants came in, boom, 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 boom. But they're not gonna give you opinions. They're gonna give you some facts. But here, what we're doing is all based on our opinions, what we read, how we grew up, how we socialize, even our economic background, how much money we make plays a factor. Our family plays a factor in all this. So yes, this is the new media. Me and you getting on a live show, we might agree on some things, disagree on some things, and also the people on Instagram, we can agree and disagree. But this is the new media.
Yeah.
We may not always have to agree, but that's the good thing about this.
No, not at all. Like
we can disagree respectfully.
But that's the whole thing. What we're losing right now the biggest problem what we're losing as a society right now is the ability to amicably disagree.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's like it's like just because I disagree, like I said, I totally disagree with my brother-in-law, but we could get along because okay, fine, we may not agree on politics, but whatever, you're good to my sister, you're good to my kids. That's all that matters.
Yeah, you might disagree on politics, but you might
Oh
be
God,
fucking
someone put
Yankee
here,
fans.
I totally disagree with this person. He put, the Marine is cloned to think he has the right to take someone's life. No.
No, I don't think. Hold on. I don't think in that situation. Who was that?
His name is G and Noah.
Oh yeah. That's Heights Chronicles. I don't think he woke up that morning and said, "Yo, I'm gonna fucking kill somebody." But I do say, like I said earlier before, he is a Marine. He is trained.
They will need to connect their mic before you can add them to the stream. Edwin, you're trying to log on, but it's saying you need to connect your mic and cam before you can.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, when you get on the live show on YouTube, it's gonna ask you allow the mic and video and hit yes.
This is why I'm going to disagree, and I'm going to especially in this case why I'm going to disagree with your friend, because after he stood still, like after he was unconscious, they tried to revive him. If they just wanted to kill him, they would have not tried to help him recover. That's the part that people don't talk about.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's a Marine. He is trained. He knows that if you choke, he could choke.
Yeah, but this is the whole thing. I'm not going to claim to be an expert, but I've heard there's a difference between like a chokehold and a submission chokehold. Because there's where there's a chokehold is here where you choke the person from the trachea here and you cut off the air supply. If you choke from over here where your carotid vein is, right, it just cuts the blood supply. So here, if you're choking from this side over here,
but hold on, the right Rican, hold on. But when shit hits the fan, you're not gonna be like, okay, guy, okay, right Rican, I'm gonna choke you now. So give me the upper part of your neck so I don't fucking choke your trachea so that you won't die. Nah, he knows. He should know from how the arm.
No,
how you form, how you put, how you lock it.
I understand that. But when someone, it's easier to say that when you're doing it and the person's not fighting. If the person wasn't the person's not staying still. It's not like, okay, hey Don, I'm gonna do a chokehold on you. Check it out. That's one thing. Then when you're trying to do it and the person's struggling and you can't keep it on the correct spot. And here's the whole thing. He wasn't the only guy subduing him. There was two other guys that was helping the Marine.
Yeah, but so once again, I'm gonna Monday morning quarterback.
Go ahead.
Those other two people that were subduing him, they should have grabbed the arm of the Marine guy and lifted up and said, "Yo, my man, you choking him. That's it. Let him go. He's down."
But they were holding the guy down because he didn't want to stop.
Yeah, but I could have grabbed that man's while you grabbing the dude, his legs. The Marine got him by the throat. I'm lifting up that dude's arm like, yo, let him go. You choking him. Let him go. Let him go. He's on the ground. It's three guys. He's not gonna get up.
But he was still fighting. He was even fighting the other two guys. But like I said, we disagree, but that's that. But that's it. We just disagree. That's it. Like here, Heights Chronicle put, so he has the right taking someone's life when his life was, I guess, not in danger. This is the whole thing. So my whole point behind this, so he had to be there beating the shit out of someone before he's allowed to step in and help save people. Because he's there talking of, he was saying he was hungry, and then he's talking about that he doesn't care if he goes back to jail and that he's going to hurt somebody. So he could verbally say that. So, but he has to actually, it's not just enough for him to verbally say it. He has to actually physically hurt somebody before you could jump in. Like I said, like you were talking about with the example with a relative of his. But it shouldn't even matter whether you're a relative or not. Like I said about like in Philly, you had someone got raped in a crowded train, and no fucking man manned up and tried to take him off of that person. Take that man off that woman. Because you're gonna tell me that you see a woman being raped and you're gonna just sit there and do nothing?
You got to get involved.
And this is the whole thing. But what my problem with this case is, yes, it's a tragic that this man lost his life. But the problem is, by charging this man with a crime, you're going to prevent other people from stepping up and protecting others. Because nobody's going to want to go through that bullshit. No, I expect him to fight back, but that's the whole thing. It's if he's still struggling, guess what? He's going to stay holding on to that chokehold until he stops moving.
Hold on.
Where's it goes here? If he attacked your mom, would you people defend the Marine?
Hold on.
Mic check. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good evening.
Hey, good evening.
Well, hold on a second. I have to get my mic on now.
Oh, your mic's on. There you
Boom.
go. Now your camera's on.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on?
I was actually. Oh, no, thanks for having me, man. Yeah, first off, let me just tell you a little quick thing about me. I always communicate with Bochinche. He has his show, Blowing Smoke. I go in there every now and then. I put some, just to lighten the mood every now and then too. But I always enjoy these types of conversations. So we don't always have to agree, but I'm always for this type of discourse.
No, yeah, I mean that's how I met Don too, because I mean, his stuff is all over the place, and when he has a good topic, I stay and watch, and when it's boring, it's like, okay, sorry, that's not my cup of tea.
Right. No, fair enough. He knows. I know exactly what you mean, because sometimes you be putty, so I'll be like, "Why you always got to be so ghetto? Let's calm it down." Not everybody got ghetto doesn't mean stupid.
Yo, but I've calmed it down a lot.
Yes, you have.
All right, so damn, give me some type of fucking credit, bro.
Oh, God.
I just did, you clown.
Oh,
anyway.
Your friend called me crazy because of just like my politics.
Oh, well, you know what? Everybody seems to be a little biased every now and then. I kind of commented
here's the whole thing. Like I said,
Instagram.
I own my bias. I'm not going to sit here and go, look, I'm a former Democrat.
Right.
I'm from New York City. I'm from the Lower East Side. Right. I grew up anti-gun. I grew up pro-abortion. You name it. At one point, I probably had that stance.
Okay.
After my son, I'm still pro-choice. I don't agree with the Republicans that they want to ban abortion completely, but I don't agree with the new Democrat stance that say you could abort a baby up to birth. That's fucking crazy.
Okay, where exactly do you have documented information that says that you could actually abort on the 9th month, or what they say?
Yeah, in New York State, the law states that if the mother's health, even if it's mental health,
right,
is in jeopardy, you could abort the baby.
So you're saying it's possible, right? So I'm saying for the sake of medical protection for a patient, you're saying that if for some reason at the 8th month it's discovered that if the woman gives birth, she risks dying, right? That one option would be like abort at this time.
Well, okay.
Otherwise, she has to go through it and she might possibly die.
If it's a legitimate reason that puts the mother's life in jeopardy, then no, I would always be okay with that. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking.
No, I know what you mean, because I think they're using it.
They'll say something like, "Oh, well, the mother's depressed, or something like that. It's like, yeah, every person gets depressed. Every mother gets depressed. They're always
Right.
scared that they're gonna have the baby. So you're gonna be like, no, but this is the whole thing. They'll say it's okay to abort the baby. Like, let's say you said, like, if the mother's health is in jeopardy, sometimes what they
Right.
could do is you could induce labor at 8
Right.
months. It may be dangerous to go full to 9 months, but the baby's still viable. If you give birth earlier, before the
No,
9 months.
but what I'm saying, no, that I agree. I understand that. But I'm only asking the question in regards to what if perhaps there is an obvious grave risk
Oh
that
no,
they would need to abort. That's
I
the
don't
because
have.
there are always circumstances like
Oh yeah,
that. You
no,
gotta
I agree.
understand that.
I don't have a problem with a medical exception like that. I don't. That's why I'm not. I'm not. See, like I said, I'm pro-choice. You're coming at it like if I'm saying ban all abortions, but I'm saying is
No,
it
that's
can't
not
be.
what I'm saying that you're saying. I just wanted to
Oh,
get
okay.
clarification on the abortion on the very last second of the ninth month. Like if people are doing it, because even an abortion after 6 weeks out of pure pleasure can be a form of abuse. Like let's say a woman who has 5 abortions because she just keep banging dudes, and the
Yeah,
minute she finds out she's pregnant, that's the same type of abuse as if it would be in 9 months for one person.
I agree
Now,
with
I'm
you. I
also
agree with you
pro-choice.
there. I agree.
Yeah,
I'm totally against someone who uses abortion as birth control.
right,
Because
right, and
at that point, just while they're doing an abortion, have them snip
cut a
your
tubes.
fucking tubes.
No, and I agree with that. I'm like, that would be the kind of thing I would agree with. Now, I just want to get to another point that you had said earlier because I
Go
wanted
ahead.
to focus a little bit on when you said when you were referring to the media, and I know a lot of people would jump on it. This is a form of tribalism that starts to grow in certain areas where everybody they have this idea that when I say the media in quotes is because they look at it as one conglomerate, right, that's
Uh-huh.
controlling our thoughts or is controlling what we see. No, they don't really control what we see.
Well, they
Media
can't anymore.
in its concept. Well, here's the thing: media in its pure concept has always been around. It goes as far as a bullhorn, a soapbox, to a newspaper, right, to a TV, to a radio, to the internet. That is media.
Yeah.
Now, the good thing about what's going on today, I know what you said the other part in regards to the internet, social media. Yeah, that's also available. It allows people to create their own content. It could both be a benefit, but at the same time, it could be just as detrimental because if you're going to go on and, for lack of a better word, spew information,
Yeah.
right? And let's just say for some reason you are not a viable candidate because you're not credible. So long as you just have a small amount of people that enjoy your company and they enjoy your show, they're giving you validation of whatever you're saying, and they feed on that.
Oh
Now,
no, of
I
course.
right, but I think that's what the media does. That's what Fox does. That's what CNN does. That's what they all do. They
I
feed
I
the
agree.
people the news,
I
and I
agree with
think what
that. Well, let me just interject with one thing. My my problem when it comes to like the media and stuff like that is when they say like when they act like they're objective, when they act like they're unbiased. Like everybody knows Fox News is right wing. Everyone knows, but they'll
right.
act like CNN is not left wing. Or like
Well, the thing is
I'll
that
give you a
at least
better. MSNBC is left wing. Fox News
right,
is right wing.
right.
CNN used to be back in the day. They used to have both people on the left and the right. They used to have, I mean, Glenn Beck. You know who Glenn Beck is?
Yeah,
They used to have Glenn Beck on CNN. They used to
right.
have,
They used to also have Tucker Carlson.
yeah, they use MSNBC actually used to have Tucker
Oh,
Carlson,
MSNBC. I'm sorry. Yeah, continue. Yeah,
but also you had like what's that guy Lou Dobbs that's on
right.
Fox used to be on CNN also. So CNN always had like an Anderson Cooper, a Wolf Blitzer, but then they also used to have they used to actually try to be in the middle, but that's not the way
Well,
it is anymore.
not most of them aren't. Like when they do it, everybody's sitting around because the influx of information that everybody's getting. This is where tribalism begins.
Yes,
This is how
you
tribalism has
you want to see
grown.
You want to see tribalism? Here's tribalism.
Oh, wait. What's tribalism?
Chronicles, he put Fox was never credible. It was proven recently. And
Right. He's right. And he's right. That's the point I was going to say because CNN hasn't been basically brought up on charges of spewing misinformation or any type of accusations that leads them to have to tell somebody under oath that they're an entertainment corporation. See, Fox was put in a hole, and they had no choice to protect themselves. No, I'm sorry. To protect themselves from
MSNBC. No, that happened to Rachel Maddow too. Fox using
Rachel Maddow's not. She's a journalist. She's not. She's an opinion. Like her show's an opinionated show. So is
Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity.
Right. And so is Don Lemon. So is
exactly.
So is Anderson Cooper. People normally do not see the difference. And we're talking about average viewers that are out there. They don't know the difference between a news program, right, an opinion program, and just content to fill that's like for example, one of my favorite shows on CNN is when they always show like the decades, right? Right now they're airing the 2010. I find it nostalgic. That's entertainment. That's the entertainment portion that CNN is providing that I enjoy. And then you have shows like we said, from Don Lemon to Tucker Carlson to Rachel Maddow, and even one of my favorites was Chris Cuomo. Those are all opinionated shows. Now, while those are still opinionated shows, the majority of them are done by actual journalists. I consider, a guy like Chris Cuomo, yeah, he's left, but he's a journalist, and I think he goes about things, impartially.
You see, I disagree with you there. That's my problem. I would respect someone like him or even Don Lemon. Like Don Lemon, what used to piss me off about Don Lemon was the fact that he used to pretend to be objective when he was not.
He could be objective the same way Tucker Carlson could be objective. Because those are opinionated shows.
When do you hear Tucker Carlson say that he's unbiased?
He doesn't say it.
He doesn't. But you have, Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon will act like they're unbiased.
They had prime time. They were fighting for that time. Those opinionated. This goes back to even like O'Reilly and stuff like that. Those are all opinionated shows. I'm just saying, many people don't see the difference.
I'm not disagreeing with you that they're opinions.
Right. But the thing is, many people don't understand that. They assume because it's in a news network that it's supposed to be news.
Don't understand the difference between those opinion shows. Like they'll watch, Tucker Carlson and Rachel Maddow, and they'll go, "Oh well, I'll give you an example. I had a lady. I was at the pool one time, right? And we're talking, and she's there like, "Oh, you're one of those people who watch Fox News." She goes, and I'm like, "Well, I watch both sides." And she goes, "Oh, well, I only watch MSNBC and CNN because they tell me the truth." And I'm like, you get part of the truth. Here's my whole thing. That's why, like Don was saying earlier, he gets a little bit from each side, because if you want to get a whole story, you can't just watch Fox News. You can't just watch CNN. You can't just watch MSNBC. You got to watch all of them to get what the real news is, because they're going to put their opinions into the piece.
They always do.
Sprinkle it with news and the facts. And if you watch all three, you'll get the facts if you just take the blinders to their opinions.
Right. But even the person who watches one show, because it might be like me, although I watch my phone, I'm sorry. I watch sprinkles of everything, but I do the majority of my watching, I watch CNN. And a lot of my favorites are no longer there, but I still watch it. Like I still watch Anderson Cooper. I still watch Wolf Blitzer. Erin Burnett, she has a good show. Jake Tapper, like I can name the people that I like that are there. And I can see when those are biased or so, because while I am watching shows that are news, I know that Don Lemon is an opinionated show. And I understand that he's bringing out a certain, centrist left view on a lot of things, right?
Well,
now, when I flip, well, yeah, of course, he's not there. But now when you flip and I say, like, let me see what Fox is doing. And This is where Fox is thrown in the window, where they're mostly an entertainment show because to their viewers, and I mean like the ones that are lesser educated, to those viewers, they basically project these guys as if they're providing news. Now,
But
any smart
but
individual
you
is going
see,
to sit there and
but
be like, it's an opinionated show.
Edwin, but here's where your bias is showing. This is where your bias is showing. Okay,
Hmm.
because you're saying that you're going that those people are uneducated, so they believe all the opinion stuff there. When you're,
Yeah.
but you're saying that CNN is not entertainment when all their primetime people that you're talking about, they just do the same thing that Fox News does, just from the left.
No, and I know when they all do the same thing too, but I'm saying as a CNN viewer, I know that those are opinionated shows. See, they can be opinionated based on the news and the facts of what's going on, but I know it's opinionated. I know when Don Lemon goes that. I know the dude swings a little left. You know, I know that
A
all the
little,
others swing
a
a little left.
little.
Let's be real. I'm gonna focus on that in a sec. I'm gonna let you know. You know, because when you say it, when you want to say a lot, it's like no. It's really hard to basically throw anybody far left or even far right. Let's understand one thing. I want to be clear. And I was telling somebody the other day. People don't understand in this country we are generally centrist. The United States is centrist. All right. Take the media and the propaganda
Oh,
out of the picture.
I agree with
And
you. But for the most
and,
part,
and the reason
because
why and
no one falls under one. Like I said, like I am pro-choice,
right.
so in that sense, I don't fit with the Republicans. I am
Right.
I'm pro-gun, which puts me against the Democrats. But
Well, no. Wait, but let's go back
hold
to
up,
that.
wait.
The wording.
Hold on.
See, you showed your bias there on that wording.
No.
Being pro-gun isn't anti-democrat.
Wait. You didn't let me finish. You
Okay.
didn't let me finish because it's the everyday Democrat that's against the guns, but the progressive socialist left are love the guns.
Okay, but when you say love the guns as a what? Because you know, in the wording, and the reason why I say it's in the wording and how it's said. I had a conversation with my good friend Raul Acosta Oro Solido. We were having a conversation, and I hate to have to be having name dropping people, but
It's all good.
he wanted to ask me a question as a litmus test. And the first question he asked in regards to abortion, you go, he had said, something about, it was about abortion, right? But he asked me if I'm pro-death, you know, as in, you know, you pro-killing babies, as opposed to saying pro-abortion. Because when you say somebody is pro-guns, I'm thinking, you know, okay, so you like guns. I don't, as a sport. If you're pro-Second Amendment, see how the wording comes off differently? Because I highly doubt Democrats are going to go out there and say, I highly doubt you're going to go on and say majority of Democrats are anti-Second Amendment. But when you say pro-death, the same way you would say pro-guns, it words it differently.
But
You
that's
think
why
what I'm saying?
okay, I understand what you're saying, but the everyday regular Democrat are against the 2A, even if they say they are, but they'll always say which this is the one that annoys me, common sense gun control laws.
What's wrong with common sense gun control laws?
Because some of them aren't common sense.
Okay, what do you consider not common sense?
Let's say, for example, the reason why they use the AR-15 as the boogeyman gun, right, is because it looks scary. But if you look at crime statistics, the number one gun, the number one type of gun used in crimes are handguns. And
Okay, so where does that lead into common sense gun laws?
Because I'm just using that as an example. So a common sense
Uh-huh.
gun law wouldn't be to ban try to ban AR-15s. It would be to try to ban handguns because they're the ones that are
Right, but
they're more widely used in crimes.
yeah, but nobody's basically claiming like taking away guns. It's basically saying number one, assault rifles. What is the need? That's the question everybody tends to ask. This is the
Well, let me
reason
ask
why an
here's the
AR-15 and
question.
the records are showing a lot of the mass shootings basically
Hold on, Frank.
involve an,
Yeah, I
an
don't want to get into.
AR-15 style
I don't want to
rifle.
get into the statistics because we could all spout statistics that back our side. But here's the thing:
Okay, but
have you ever shot an AR-15?
no.
Okay, so if you've never shot an AR-15, right? How
Mhm.
can you come at it saying common sense if you've never even used or shot the gun that you want to ban?
Right, but I think I would answer that question with a question to you. So
Go
going to
ahead.
say, should a person who's never used an AR-15 be allowed to carry an AR-15?
Well, if you buy it, you're going to end up using it. You go to the range
Yeah, but
and use it. I don't have.
right,
Okay, I've never shot an AR-15 before. I'd like to go
right.
shoot an AR-15 because my friends who are gun people tell me they're one. The reason why those guns are so popular is because they're easy to shoot and aim. So, like, let's say for
Okay,
example, my wife, if I'm not home, an AR-15 is easy for her to shoot. Oh, your friend Heights Chronicles a joke. I What can't.
mm-hmm.
Happened? No, he's just putting stupid shit up. I can't even. Him, you, Edwin. I could see that we'll disagree, but I could see that we could find. Oh crap! He got disconnected.
Yeah, that's his phone.
I could see that him and we may disagree, but we could come at it from a different perspective. Like we could disagree, but have like an amicable agree to disagree. Your friend Heights Chronicles, on the other hand, I could see that there is no middle ground with him. He's when he's talking about blaming everything on slavery, I can't fuck with that. Blaming everything on slavery.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I lost. I mistakenly dropped that. I'm sorry. What were
Yeah,
you saying?
no. What I was gonna say is, I could see that we may not agree, but it sounds like you and I can have a good conversation back and forth without being, oh well, fuck you, you right wing, fuck you, you left wing. That we
Well,
can come at it.
I can come in and trust me. If you want to see the conversations I've had with friends, it does get crazy. I understand, but
No.
what
But
I'm
I
what,
mean,
what
what
I'm
I mean by
saying,
that,
no,
you
I'm
seem
not
like
saying
the
me.
type
I'm
of
not saying
dude.
me.
Yeah.
This is your show. I don't want to disrespect your show like
Oh,
that. I got you. So my question is, going back to common sense gun laws, which I think, like you said, that you find it to be funny. I'm only saying when they talk about common sense laws, there are many ideas that fall under that umbrella of common sense gun laws, like a background checks, right? Like
yeah,
like
but that's
stricter type of vetting. No, but I'm saying a stricter type of vetting system that before they hand over a gun to somebody, right, for them to
okay.
have,
Well,
it's
here's the whole
probably
thing.
registered and
Now
things like that.
here's what I'm gonna ask you. Have you ever bought a gun?
No, I don't have a
Okay,
gun.
but no. Here's why. When I hear that stuff, what you're talking about, I,
Hmm.
as someone who's bought a gun,
Hmm.
should already know that you've never bought a gun before.
Right, but the thing is,
Because no, but
I'm
yeah,
saying those are
but
conversations that
Edward,
everybody's having. Me
I know.
personally, no, I'm
Yeah.
saying me personally, I don't wish to own a gun. I don't feel I need to have a gun. With what I have right now, the way I go about my life,
Well, you live.
if I
You
feel at a certain
also
point, I'm glad I have that freedom,
you live in New
knowing that
York.
if I choose.
Here's the whole
No,
thing.
I live in Miami. I live in Miami. I live in Miami.
Oh, you live. Well, okay, you live in, but still, you live in a big
I'm
city.
from New York. But I live in Miami. Yeah.
But you live in a big city. I live out in the boondocks.
Right.
If you call the cops will probably be in your house in 10 minutes. If I call the cops are going to
Hmm.
be in my house in like 45 minutes.
No, but that's not saying taking anything away from what you have. You have good reasons for having a rifle
No.
or
It's
a
just
gun in
giving
your
you.
house. I
No.
understand that.
What I'm saying is, what I'm giving you is an example of what I think the big issue with guns is rural versus urban. When you live in the
Okay.
city, you don't really. When you all packed in like that, there's really no need for someone to really have a gun because it's more dangerous than it is helpful. But when you live
Right.
like in the boot, like last week while I was doing my show, right?
Hmm.
My wife was watching my show and a freaking bear popped out my window.
Right.
And she was like, "What the fuck?" But you know what? I have my guns that if that bear tries to break into my house, I can protect myself.
Okay, but that I can understand. But where does that basically feel like anybody? Because I always ask people the question when they
But
talk
that's why
about
I
gun,
asked. But
like
that's why when I told you about the whole thing about you talking about background checks, every time
yeah,
because the fact I have a misdemeanor on my record, right?
right,
Every time I go buy a gun, it always comes back. Oh, you have to wait 3 days to get the gun.
okay, okay.
Every single time I bought a gun, just
But
because
would
I
you
have
agree?
but
I
let's
know,
say
but
just because I
would
have a
you?
misdemeanor from 20 years ago.
But no, I understand that, and those things, having a gun, is a very, it's a very important thing. But at the same time, it's very delicate. It's a delicate issue. Even if you're having guns roaming around, it's always about just teaching responsible gun ownership. They say it on the left, as much as they say it on the right. Problem with people on the right, when their argument comes along, they're being fed by somebody the idea that people are saying they want to take away guns. I remember when I was coaching baseball, my
Hold up.
students.
Time out for right there. Isn't
Yeah.
Biden calling for an assault weapons ban? He just called for it
Well, they got to
at a
start
speech.
somewhere. Yeah,
What? Yeah, but here's the whole
yeah.
thing.
He
But
said,
that's a contradiction to what you just said. You said that the
right.
right's always talking about they're coming for your guns, but meanwhile,
Hmm.
Biden's talking about an AR ban, and you just said it has to begin somewhere.
Because assault rifles
Here,
have no. But that's my opinion also. I agree with when it comes to the gun argument. Like assault rifles or assault style rifles, the type that pretty much
okay,
semi-automatic and all
but
that.
you don't. But you don't.
They have no place on the regular
Hold on,
streets.
Edwin. Every gun is semi-automatic. Every gun is semi-automatic. Do you
Okay,
know that?
every gun.
Every gun is semi-automatic, unless it's an old. You gotta put the bullet in each and single. A revolver is semi-automatic.
If you break it down like that, getting technical, I can understand that.
No, I'm not getting
But
technical. That's
no, no,
what
no, 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 no.
every
Please,
gun.
please. No, I'm not being condescending. I'm saying you're getting technical on that. I'm just basically understanding. Like,
Well,
just
no, yeah,
you're
that's what I'm
elaborating.
saying.
I understand.
But that's what I mean by most people who are anti-gun or anti-2A, whichever way you want to look at it. I
Hmm.
don't, like I said, they've never bought a gun, they've never fired a gun, they've never usually they don't, like, they'll say semi-automatic and automatic interchangeably like it's the same thing.
Right.
Automatic guns have been banned since like the late 70s, early 80s.
My guess is the military is the only one that has it.
The military is the only one to have automatic weapons. Plus,
Hmm.
the only automatic weapons people there were people who were grandfathered in that if you had it at the time of the banning, you were
Uh-huh.
still allowed to have it. And if you
They
like
just
some,
weren't. They just weren't sold anymore. Is that what it is?
they're not sold anymore to the general public.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
But
Now,
I mean, but
now, your argument that you say brings up good points for an individual to basically, defend, and I respect, and I actually believe that. You live in a rural area. I understand on how that protection comes in. If the fact that people are against background checks and at least some type of vetting process or
that's the
registration
whole thing.
process, that's what
You see,
is
now I'm going
there.
to tell you that's a left talking point because, like I
Really?
said, yes, it is because you think, like I said, when I bought a gun, every single time I bought a gun, okay, because
Hmm.
I want to say how many guns I have,
Okay.
but when I go to buy a gun, I get a background check. There's there's no such thing as people buying a gun. You try tomorrow, you're in Miami, right? Even though you don't want to go
Hmm.
buy it, even though you don't want a gun, go to a gun shop and try to buy a gun. See if you could walk out that same day with the gun.
Well, there's a new law that the census just passed. People are able to
No,
buy guns
it
out here.
doesn't. No, it doesn't matter. They'll still have to if they're a federally fired. If you go to buy a gun, they have to they have to do a background check. This whole thing of you don't get a back, you
And the
don't have to do a
background check
background check.
stops you from getting. There's a background check that comes up like negative. Does that stop you from purchasing the gun?
If you have nothing on your background, then no, they can't stop you from getting the gun.
Okay, well that was the background checks and registrations are the ones that that are a big concern that, if anything, for whatever reason, seems to be falling through the cracks
What
in the argument.
registration? What are you talking about? Registration?
When you register a gun, to have that
No,
registration, so in the event that something
no,
happens, or not even,
no.
like,
You
is
don't.
that is
You,
that
I'm gonna tell
is
you
that
why.
there?
I'm gonna tell you why you don't want to register your guns.
Why not?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you trust the government?
That
No.
I
Yes.
trust. I
Do you,
trust the government, but how is
no.
that supposed to be the kind of
You
thing
trust.
that
You
takes away
trust the
from the
government.
government if you
Let me
register your
ask you a
gun?
question. Did you hear about the trucker strike the trucker protest in Canada during the COVID riots? I mean, the
Yes.
COVID protest. Did
Hmm.
you see what their government did to the truckers?
No, please enlighten me.
They closed their bank accounts. They depersoned
Okay,
the people.
but
Well,
why?
I use that as an example of,
Hmm.
but we consider Canada to be a free country, right?
Yeah,
Okay, but that's what Canada did.
but what was the
So
reason for them freezing their accounts?
because they were protesting the COVID mandates.
Freezing their bank accounts because they were protesting COVID mandates that
Yeah,
were being placed upon truck drivers,
yeah.
and that
Well,
was
they
due
were
to the fact that they were registered.
no. What I'm using that as an example that they had bank accounts, and what they did was if they caught you protesting, they
Hmm.
froze the bank accounts of the truckers.
I need to look into that. I can't really comment much on that because I
Okay,
don't know
but
about it.
I'm using that as an example.
I
So if
know, I
you
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Edwin. Yeah,
if
that
you
happened. That happened. Not this winter, that just passed. Last winter
right.
in
okay,
Ottawa,
Yeah, I gotta go
so
Canada.
back. I gotta
yeah.
go back. I don't remember that one.
So
I know about the truck strike, but I don't know
what
about
I mean,
the
but what
frozen
I
bank
mean,
account.
what I use that as an example is that if you trust, if look at that with just a bank account, they were just
Hmm.
protesting, and they just got their bank accounts frozen for
Right,
protesting. Okay, if
right.
you give the government the registration of every gun that people own,
Hmm.
when they want to go full, you can't have guns. Once they have that registration, that's when they could grab them because
Because
now they know where
usually,
every gun
who
is.
tells you that they're gonna stop the guns? See, that goes right back to the rhetoric that you're saying when
No, no,
somebody's
no. I'm
saying
not
that
saying
they're
no.
taking away our guns.
Wait. No, no. I'm
That
okay.
kind of goes back to
No,
that.
no, 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 no. I'm telling you because you're talking about registration. I'm telling you
Right.
what the registration can lead to. That's why I asked you, do you trust the government?
Yeah, and I trust the government. I'm not
Well,
saying that
but
that is
then,
perfect, but
but then you,
I trust
but
the
then you
government.
see, but you and I, then it's not rhetoric. It's just a disagreement.
No, I know,
Because
but I'm saying to answer the simple question on that, even though there's things within the government structure I don't agree
I
with,
just wanna,
I still trust them.
I want to give Don a chance to chime in because it looks like he like you're in thought. Like you,
No, no, no. Keep doing it. Nah, I'm happy that my boy Edwin is here. You got a different perspective. Edwin always has a good perspective on a lot of things.
so
I'm
that's
just
right.
here chilling.
Okay.
Don't worry about me.
So
Now,
one
now,
thing is
now,
that's
yeah,
why I said it's not you.
But I don't.
Be
But the
careful.
right
Who
Rican,
you,
the right Rican. Even if people got their guns registered,
uh-huh.
I don't think. The only way, if there was a day that the government says nobody can have guns, the only way they're gonna take the guns away from the people is if the army gets involved. I don't
I
think
agree.
there's enough
I
manpower to
I
be knocking on
agree.
everybody's door to be like, yo, Edwin, give me your gun. And or the right weekend, give me your gun. And people not just gonna hand over their guns. There's gonna be a fucking shootout.
Oh, I agree. I no look, listen, if at any point the government tries to abolish the Second Amendment, you're looking at instant civil war. Period.
but
That's not rhetoric. That's just you got too many people in this
and I
country.
think that's where the problem lies. I go back and I say it. Nobody's trying to take away guns
But,
the way people are
Edwin,
basically throwing it out there.
but
The fear. No,
like I said,
I know,
you
I
just
know. What I'm
contradicted
saying, I'm
yourself,
hearing.
though.
I know, but hear me out. It's not even about trying to. It's not it's not a gotcha moment.
No,
It's
no,
just I don't see proof on. I don't see proof on where it's basically stating that there's an agenda to take people's guns away.
But you
We're
just
talking
said,
about.
but you just acknowledged that Biden wants to ban the AR-15, and then you
Yeah,
also
I
said
agree on the,
it has.
but I agree.
But,
I agree on
but
that
you
as
may
well.
agree,
If they're
okay,
trying to make it
but
happen,
you
but I
agree
agree
with
with.
it.
I don't think it will
Okay,
happen, but I agree
okay,
with it.
but there you go. But it's not rhetoric when the right says that they want to go for your guns when you
No,
just
that is
said
rhetoric.
no.
That is
It is not
rhetoric. That
rhetoric
is rhetoric.
because you just
Yes, it
said
is.
no. Look, listen. It's not rhetoric if you're saying that Biden wants to go for them, and it has to start somewhere. So you
Right, and
can't.
it has to
So
start
you can.
somewhere with
But
common sense gun laws,
but here,
and they
Edwin.
aren't out there.
Hear me out, Edwin. You're saying that it's rhetoric when the right says they're coming after your guns, okay? But in the same sentence, you said Biden. You agree that Biden is trying to ban AR-15s, and you said it has to start somewhere. So you
Yes, and
can't
it's just
say,
start. It starts. It starts. It has to
but
start
Edward,
somewhere that leads
but
to
then hear me out.
common
But
sense.
then,
Again,
okay,
common
no,
sense.
Edwin, hear me out. But then you
Right.
can't say it's rhetoric when you're
Mhm.
proposing that said rhetoric, because rhetoric means it's not true.
Well, okay. Banning assault rifles as opposed to right to bear arms are two different things.
No, it's not. It's the same
Yes, it
thing.
is.
It's a
No, it's not.
yes, it is. See,
It's a
Edwin, that's
class
what
of
I'm saying.
rifle.
It's not it, but you
It
said
is.
it has. But
Because
look, listen.
nobody is trying to basically ban handguns. Nobody
No,
is trying to ban.
but
We're
Edwin,
talking about. We're talking about.
hold up, Edwin. Like I said
Yeah.
before we keep going, because we're gonna keep going back and forth in this. You
Right.
said, like I said, your own words. This is not what I said. I'm not trying to
Okay.
get. I'm not trying to get you. But like I
I'll own
said,
my bias, dude. It's okay. What is it?
no, I know. But what I'm saying is, you said it has to start somewhere, and here's the whole
Yes.
thing. Us on the right, when we hear you say it has to start somewhere, means it's not going to end there.
My thing is, when you say you got to start somewhere, you keep saying it. Remember what I was talking about? That it is what I agree on. Is common sense gun law.
But you're,
Like,
but yeah,
like I think I've seen it before. I've seen it before, which I do agree on a certain registration process because it's no different than like if you're gonna drive or have a car, why can't your car be registered, right? If you're gonna live in a home, obviously you have a deed to that home that proves, and shows you're the owner of that home. The same way that you're the one that has the car registered. How is it that they can't focus on a registration
you're
on
talking to the
firearms?
wrong guy here with that, because I think it's bullshit that I have to register my car with the government. It's my fucking car.
Oh, okay, now I see where we're coming.
I shouldn't have to pay.
What's wrong with registering?
Because I shouldn't have to pay every fucking year for my car that I already paid. That I already paid the car dealership for.
Okay, right, but a registration should be good, right? Yes or no?
Registration fee. What happened?
I know, but I said, would you not agree that a registration works? Forget about if it's paying every year. I can understand. That's for another conversation.
No,
but the fact that when you purchase your car, you have it registered.
Business what car I own. That's the whole thing. I don't think it's any business what car I own. If I own 3 cars,
I see where you're going. I see where you're going. So then I would have to ask this question. You're driving your car down I-95, and for some reason you go on and accidentally run somebody over, right? And when you find an opportunity to just keep driving and avoid the situation because you cannot be found, and your car, which should have been registered, cannot be located, right? What happens then, knowing that people are driving around the roads, right? And either accidents happen or a car can get basically stolen, because that same protection also protects you from retrieving your property, as opposed to just saying, you know what, that's my car. Well, prove it. I don't have to prove anything to you because I don't need to register it. But how can you prove that the car belongs to you? It's not just the title, it's the registration.
Because the car still has an identification number. So
yeah. Now, and identification number is connected to whom?
The company.
The company?
The company
no, wait.
makes the car. They put guns have numbers. Guns have serial numbers.
That's not going to connect it because if you're the owner of the vehicle, You're the owner of the vehicle, and if the accident, you're basically saying that you're the owner of the vehicle. They just need to know that you own the car.
How you think they find when with the guns? They find it because the guns have serial numbers. The companies keep numbers of the serial numbers. That's why it's illegal to file the number off the serial number off your gun.
Right. Because the serial number could be able to locate a person that owns a particular weapon.
Not necessarily that owns it, but that's the person who did the crime.
Yeah, but how can they locate the person that owns the weapon? You got to go through further forensics. That is just a relatively new technology that's out there in the past like 100 years. But I'm like, to try to locate a person that used the vehicle, how can you pinpoint that? You have another register that does that. Now, what we're talking about is even if it's within a faction, we can have an argument as to an annual registration and why we have to basically pay just to confirm that something belongs to you. I understand that, but even if it's a one-time registration, like if you were to register either your property, why can't you just register something as lethal?
So let me ask you a question. If it's just a gun problem, let's say for example, do you know they have like mass stabbings in London?
Mass stabbings?
Yeah, in London.
Right.
The knife crime is so bad in London that you can look it up. The mayor wanted to have knife control in London.
Well, when something gets out of hand like that, you got to get to a certain level that the conversation's there. Whether it passes or not, it's a conversation. Like you said, if for some reason they happen to be like a swarm of bears that always pass by your house, people are going to bring it up in legislation because that's what happens. And they basically want to argue how to protect people from the fact that there's a swarm of bears that pass by your house every night at midnight. Find a way to basically deter it. If there's a large incident of knife stabbing, of course, that becomes a conversation. The same way where there's massive shootings that are happening uncontrollably. So they basically have to bring up the conversation and say, how can we better control this so that way we can mitigate the problem? You just don't go on and say, you know what, I don't need to have my gun registered or anything registered. I'm protecting myself. But that's what the conversation is.
Do me this one thing as an experiment. Try, even though you don't have to buy the gun, but go through the process of trying to get one.
Well,
just do me.
I don't know that.
Just do me that experiment.
That's not supposed to like if I wanted to get a gun, at least I know and I agree the fact that if I want to get a gun, it's there. We're talking about responsible gun ownership.
But I want you to see the process that it takes, so you could better understand. That's why I want you to do it, just so you can see the process, so you could better understand. Because it's easy for you to say background checks, but
what's wrong with a background check?
No, dude, you're not listening to me.
I know, but what is wrong? I know because you're saying it like that. It's not your rhetoric, but I'm like, even if they do a background check before anybody does it.
Edwin,
hold on. The right Rican. Let me ask you a question. Do you agree with background checks?
Yes, because background checks are in every gun you buy. That's why I'm telling your friend, go. Do me a favor, go through the process and see that it's not something that you could go to the store. Okay, if you have any sort of misdemeanors on your record, you're gonna go.
So the gun show loophole. They allow they do background checks when they basically selling from gun owner to gun purchaser.
Yes, they do. Because
everybody.
You before you leave that gun show, they have to run a background check at the event. There's someone there that runs your.
So why doesn't anybody ever say? Because it's interesting you say that. I'm acting like I'm acting a little ignorant to the matter because I'm not a gun owner, but we already know that's a constant conversation that goes out there. Everybody and they bring up that topic about background check or national background check. Why wouldn't it be easy? No, I'm only asking. Why wouldn't it be so easy for, like, let's say, gun advocates that are out there, two-way advocates for that, to simply say that because they don't?
Well, but it's the whole thing. Because on the media, like you talk about when we were talking about the media, like if you say that on CNN, they'll be like, no, that's not true. But they won't tell you but it's not a
no. And I've seen it on both spectrums. I'm only saying, like, in a basic conversation for a person that doesn't know, you just said You just said that while people are saying they should basically make sure they have a much stronger, I put it more general to say a stronger vetting system, right? You're saying that there is.
There is.
Within okay, what I'm saying is within the debate, from the left or the right, when the argument comes about, I hear like, and that's not just CNN. I'm saying it does not flow on a normal stream where you're hearing more and more gun advocates uh, uh, um, talk, explain like you're saying, and basically state there are background checks. Nobody's really saying that, so there's a flaw in the process so much.
Well, because the flaw is when you say there's already background checks, you got people, and no offense to you, I'm not saying this to offend you, but you got people like yourself who've never bought a gun, and you hear that they'll interject and be like, "Oh, that's not true. The backgrounds aren't rigorous enough." But here's the whole thing: if you go, like I said, I have a misdemeanor from 20 years ago. Whenever I go,
Right.
I have to wait the maximum 3 to 5 days to get my gun.
Right.
Just because the fact I have a misdemeanor. Now, you know what? It's inconvenient for me, but whatever. I still get my gun. Okay?
Okay. So you went through the background check process. What I'm saying is not that people are saying they need to be background checks. I'm like, I don't hear the type of retort. If someone says we need background checks, like you just said, it's like somebody standing up and saying, "But we have background checks."
But they do.
No, they don't, because I don't hear enough of that even on the right. If I'm saying I need some more clarity, they don't. You're the first person I've known that basically is clarifying more of what the background check is. What I'm saying is, in every conversation with other, gun ownership advocates that are like against whatever democratic policies are out there, nobody stands up like what you're saying to basically explain on how we do have a background.
Well, but that's
it's as easy as saying it's the same thing as let's say in the abortion argument, right? You could go on and easily gain supporters when you go on and say they're killing babies, just like that. They're killing babies,
I think that's counterproductive. I think it's counterproductive when people go, you're pro-death or you're pro-life. I think that stuff is counterproductive. Like I said, but when it comes to abortion, I'm not conservative. I don't fall in line with the conservatives. I believe the old Florida law. So like the old Florida law was said like 15 weeks. I'm fine with 15 weeks when it comes to abortion. After that,
I'm fine generally with whatever a woman decides if that's her body. I say that in general because in truth it should be beyond anything that it's a woman's body. It should be a woman's choice.
Let me ask you a question. So if it's her body and it's her choice, right? Is she allowed to drink alcohol or smoke meth while she's pregnant?
Is she allowed to, or does she do it anyway? Because being allowed is being given permission to do so.
You could get arrested for doing meth while pregnant if you harm.
In what states? In what states? Huh?
Well, first, smoking meth is illegal in every state.
Well, smoking meth, if she's being arrested because she's using meth, that has nothing to do with the abortion, with the pregnancy.
But if she harms, all right, let me ask you. Okay, here's another one. If you run over a pregnant lady, are you going to be charged with just her death, or will you be charged with the baby's death?
If they're able to basically give birth to the baby and the baby dies in the process, that's a double homicide. Not while she's pregnant. Yeah, I've watched Law and Order, dude.
No, if she's pregnant. No, if she's pregnant and you run her over.
No.
Yes, it is.
No, well, like I said, if in the process, yes, right. If in the process, right, they want to say they could try to save the baby. Listen. If they try to save the baby, if in the process by bringing her and they give birth and it's a baby, but the baby dies in the process, there.
Well, no,
that's a tricky question because
if they both die, if you save the baby, of course you're not being charged with two deaths. But if you hit her and they both die, you're going to be charged with 2 counts.
We're gonna need some confirmation on that one. What I'm saying is that most likely if they're able to extract the baby right from the mother, and in the process the baby dies, I think that's where the argument comes in.
Oh.
I think it's a tougher argument where it becomes that left right argument that needs clarification. That if someone is basically murdered while they're pregnant, whether it's considered double homicide or not, it may not be. You need some clarification on that.
In most states, it is.
Right, but show me. Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Most likely, it will probably be like, let's say, on a particular anti-abortion state, right? Because of course, it can be considered a crime like that if they pass legislation that's based on the ideology.
You even have states like California that, even though they're in New York, I'm pretty sure that if you kill a pregnant woman, you're getting charged with both. Even in states that have.
I'm gonna research that when we're done from here. But that's an interesting question that you're saying, because it does still bring up the argument. I'm not favoring a person that goes on and does, commits murder to go on and say, no, he should get 1 instead of 2. Look, in my opinion, yeah, you're right. If he kills a woman and she's pregnant, yes, slap him with 10. Just take the 2 and multiply it by 10. Make it 20 because he committed a crime like that. Let him fucking rot in hell. But what I'm saying is, it can still be the type of thing that brings up the argument that either both parties got to make sure they defend. If they're going to go on and use, like, let's say the abortion argument, it's almost like saying no. If you're going to use the anti-abortion argument, it can be yes. Now, if it's all about morals, when there's a time where people come together and they realize it, chances are they're both all going to agree it should be double, because they want punishment for the murderer to the fullest extent of the law. But it's just saying, like, unless we have a confirmation on it, it's still a conversation. Like, it could be 1, it could be 2. It all depends on legislation, right?
Yeah, well, even though I'm enjoying the conversation.
Oh, man, I wanted to say something before you cut it off, bro.
Good.
Real quick, I'm sorry. It was always something I wanted to talk about that you were saying earlier regards to, the tribalism issue. And I think I want people to understand on how the more we argue about topics in this country, the more we realize we as Americans have a lot in common. This is a centrist country. You understand? I'm gonna give you an example. You put one argument on the table and basically have to, invite people to take sides on it. You're easily gonna get that spectrum, far right, far left, like the abortion argument or the gun argument or capital punishment. But the more issues you put on the table, right, you start seeing people swaying from right to left because they realize, well, like you said, I'm just like you. You're pro-abortion, but then you're also, what we Democrats usually say in the battle, you're pro-guns. You know what I mean? But in pro-gun or no, I know, but I'm saying in the gun argument, you're on the other side of the table. Yeah. And in the abortion argument, you're on that side of the table. I'm the same way. I'm pro-abortion. I'm also pro-capital punishment. You understand? That's how I am. I feel like you commit a crime and you found guilty, death penalty, fry, motherfucker. That's how I see it.
And I say cut off the genitalia of rapists and especially child rapists.
See, that's when we get into Hammurabi's law, because you can say the same for theft, right?
No, well. No, I
know what I'm saying. It could be the same.
No, I understand, the Muslims with the law that says that the thief used to get their hand cut off. No, but I'm just talking about.
Yes, that's called Hammurabi's law.
The reason I say we're rape is because once you cut it off, they can't do that shit again.
No, and you know what? When we talk about it, this is how society has grown. Where we were as barbaric to basically say that we would kill a person just because they know that they were told that they committed a crime. Without a justice system, nobody gets due process. This is where we're at right now. This is a 240 plus year experiment of the United States of America. Now, when you go on and put a whole bunch of arguments on a table where people are arguing left and right their ideology, they start realizing that while you take some of those extremes out, we have a lot in common as Americans.
Oh yeah, I agree with you that we're more of a centrist country, and I think that what's going on, especially with the extremes of the tribalism, is where people don't think a stance over, and they'll go with whatever they appear their side believes. See, it's not like
Yeah.
So even if they don't think about it, because their side says that that's wrong, then you know, what, for example, like I said, not to keep going with it, but like with the gun, it's like if
Right.
they don't think about it, but because my side says that's their side is wrong, I'm going to go to that side.
No, and it's
And
easy. It's just easy having a
and
conversation.
I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying that as an example without going into further topics. But
No, and it's just easy as having a conversation. I just like
yeah,
to leave where the fact that while I don't own a gun, I'm not saying the time comes. I feel like I'm gonna need it. At least I know I
that's
have
what
that
I said.
freedom that if I want to
I would
register, I
I
can
would
get
be
one.
I would be curious if you would just, like I said, just try it. Don't go through all the process because you don't have to buy it. You don't have to.
Hmm.
You don't have to pay for it till you finish passing the background check.
Well, I appreciate. I might do that someday. Like what I'm saying is, I know what
Just
you.
so, just so you can see that it's not as easy as you think it is.
Yeah, no, but what I was saying, I was gonna just say at the end of it all, I play Battlefield, I play Call of Duty, so I keep track of rifles that are out there, dude. I know about the M4, the M16, the G36A, and all that. Those are one of my favorites that are out there. Not to mention, those are always
Yeah,
fun. So when I'm playing in my video
and
games,
those are
dude,
guns that
I'm
you
well
can't.
aware what the guns
And
can
those are
do.
guns you can't buy in real life.
I know, but I'm saying the shit is fun. I fucking love playing. I'm a first person shooter. I'm a
Yeah.
gamer. Yeah, yeah.
No,
Okay, it's a deal breaker to some of your women. I
hey,
got it. I fucking love video games.
hey, I'm a gamer too. I'm playing Dead Space right now, so the new one.
There, there you have
I
Oh,
just finished, I just finished beating shit. What was that game I was playing? Um, oh shit, my wife bought me two games. I'm blanking on the other one.
Damn, and then your wife is buying this for you? Ooh, she's a
Oh,
keeper, dude.
she's a gamer
Congrats.
too. She
There you go.
she's a gamer too. We were oh, that's right, the Hogwarts game because we were both playing the Hogwarts game.
Oh, okay. Now y'all getting nerdy on me. Okay,
Hey,
it's okay.
I help, but
I'm a
I'm a
nerd
good.
too. I'm a nerd too.
We were both playing that one. I beat that one, and then I started playing Dead Space. And I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan. That's the game. That's my game.
Oh,
I
okay.
love
I used to
Assassin's
play so many. I had to bring it down a little because I love women. So I had
Creed.
to bring it down a little bit.
Well,
So I only go Call of Duty and Battlefield.
well, when your woman plays video games, then it's awesome.
Hey, that's a lovely
Hey,
relationship.
you
That's
put like
like what I
this.
always
Hey,
say. You know what?
hey,
A woman that can talk sports is a fucking keeper.
you put like this. My wife for my birthday bought me the PS5.
Now that's love. Now
It's-
that's love. That's love. I applaud you for that, sir. That's awesome.
that's
Go
why
ahead, anger everybody else that doesn't like it.
that's why we've been married 17 years. So
Congrats. See
thank
that?
you.
You know what? That's a happy marriage. You know what? That's cool. Yo, Bochinche, what the hell are you doing, bro?
Right?
I'm folding clothes.
Ah,
It turned into the Right Rican and Edwin show.
I know. You let it. You see what I mean? I jump on this guy's show sometimes. I feel bad because at times I feel like I'm taking over his show. I don't like doing
I
it.
know I've done it before too, where I'll jump on his show, and I'll do the same thing. But hey, look, listen. At the end of the
I
day,
appreciate that conversation, by the way.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You know what? Like I said, unlike the other guy, Chronicle Heights, where I can't see him and I coming to any agreement, but you and I can see, even though we disagree. Like I said, I already put it in your mind that you might go see how going to buy the gun. You might
Well,
go
I,
see.
I might just want to do that someday, but
Just
because let me just be clear on it. It's just that me personally, it's never your problem till it's your problem. Lucky for me, I have never been in a position where I feel like what I need protection.
No, I know,
You
but
understand?
why I encourage people who you don't have to buy it. Like I said, you just go there, you see the process, so like that you could better understand. You know what? It may even help you strengthen your position because if
Right.
then you know the process, and then you could go,
No, you're
hey,
right.
maybe hey, this process is not good enough. Now you have the experience to go, hey, maybe we should add this, and this, and this.
Well, that's another good point that you said. It's good knowing the process, so in the event you really need to, it makes it quicker and easier.
Exactly. But even if you
I
say
got you.
it'll strengthen your argument when you come at when you come at someone, hey, background checks with guns. Well, I did it, and I could tell you the process, and this is where it's not good enough. They don't ask you this, they don't ask you that.
Oh, but let me ask one last question. I know you wanted
Yeah.
to end the show with this, but all right, all right, you as a gun owner, or as a, or on what's the best way? Okay, we're just gonna go blue. We're gonna go red or blue. You lean red when it comes to gun. I'm
Yeah.
not saying this insulting. I'm saying I lean blue when it comes to gun. You lean red when it comes to gun. As a advocate on that end, do you see there's anything that needs improvement in order to make it safe?
Um, I think it's hard. I think it's a very hard topic. I understand the passion behind the topic because the problem is the problem is yes, there's a mental health problem when it comes to guns because the part that people don't talk about that gets lost in the mass shootings because those are the rarity. Even though if they'll throw out statistics there which are bullshit because they'll count like a drive by as a mass shooting, like two
I
gangs.
think mass shootings is five or more. That's what I've heard.
No, that's not.
No,
It's
on the
no
record,
no.
what is it then?
It's three or more.
All
Oh,
right, I was off by
Two,
oh,
one.
it's
it's
three.
two.
Okay.
It's two or three or more. I forget if it's two or three.
No,
But
that's what I'm
like
saying.
I said,
I
so let's
looked it
say
up. I looked it up, and I just need a clarification. I did
yeah,
look it up. That's
it's
why I
like
was
two or
asking. I
three.
think I saw
But,
something said five.
but here's the whole thing. They'll say, let's say two gangs shooting at each other. That's a mass shooting. Now,
Okay.
not that it's not a mass shooting, but when they talk about like a mass shooting that happens at a church or a school, they'll put they'll lump that rare instance with with the gangbangers.
No, no, but
Right? But
let's
here, so
take.
hold on,
I know what
hold
you're
on, hold on.
saying.
Anyway, I don't want to.
You're referring
Wait,
to
hold
how
on,
the media
time out.
shows
I
it.
don't want to
I
get
was just
into that.
asking.
I don't want to get into
No,
that
no,
tangent. But here, no,
no,
here's my
no.
point.
Yeah.
No, here's what I was gonna say. The part that people don't talk about that gets lost in that argument is that the vast majority of gun deaths in this country are not mass shootings, are not gangbangers, but are suicide. That's that's the part that gets lost because
But doesn't
there's
that
like
go? Doesn't that basically involve? If you look at and take that argument and say, well, how? What avenue would you have to take to help mitigate that problem? That goes back to
well,
strict. No, no. But I'm saying that could, in the argument, bring back the argument in regards to stricter background checks to make sure that
yeah,
if
but that's the whole thing. But if
not
you
for the
don't,
sake of harming others,
but
when
if
you
you
say
don't,
suicide, you got to
but
know
like I
whether
said,
somebody
but
should be capable of having it.
if they don't do it with a gun, they're gonna slit their wrists. They're gonna take pills. They're gonna
That's
hang themselves.
I'm
There's a lot of
sorry. That's wait, but
look.
that right there, that's a weak argument. The reason why I'm
No,
saying that's a
no,
weak argument, that I'm
you.
only pointing out if it involves guns. That's why I
But
wanted
that's
to ask you.
no. But that's your opinion. But what I'm saying is, but that's what gets lost because if let's say for example, okay, if I didn't have my misdemeanor or whatnot on my record, I could go tomorrow and buy a gun, go through the whole background check. Come,
Hmm.
they go, oh, your background check's clear. Okay, I could go home and the gun's there doing nothing, and then all of a sudden, you know, my my child passes away, my wife passes away, God forbid. Well, guess what? Now that gun that's been there in my house for 10 years doing nothing. Now I'm depressed and everything like that. People do that. What's going to stop? That's not going to. It's there's
So
nothing that
so
you could.
so how can
There's no law that you could put into place that's going to stop that from happening.
okay, so then what if you throw some situation like that out there when you go into the topic of background checks and the same thing is like registration, right? What happens is
Okay.
to have periodic registration checks on those because, like you said, when you drive, right?
But I don't want
Every
to.
perhaps
Here, we're going into the tangent again
I,
because
no. It's not the tangent. What I'm saying
no,
is
because you
every
asked me, you asked me the question. I gave you
hmm
the answer about
hmm
the whole thing, and I'm telling you why I understand why it's tough, and I understand why it's difficult. But we're gonna keep going. If you throw me examples, I'm gonna keep throwing you examples, and this is gonna go on for another hour.
Rican, but that's what I want to point out. Where that's the reason why I asked you that question because I'm not asking to be objective about it. You're an advocate for on the right when it comes to gun laws. I just asked as an advocate for that.
uh,
Do you not see that there are problems that may need improvement? If you're gonna come back to the thing, I'm only saying that even if you ask the question, you got to go back and say once you find out what the problem is, you
I
find a
can
way
say
to mitigate the
is
problem.
the only thing I could say is one of the things where I will say is um, probably maybe like a gun safety class, like something
Okay.
where you know, um, like for example, I have little kids, but I have guns.
hmm
I keep my guns where my little kids can't reach, and my once my girl gets old enough that I could teach her how to use it, I'll teach her how to use it
Right. So
because
that means
I want
so,
her
so that
because I want her to respect the danger of a gun, but I don't want her to be afraid of it. I don't want to have
okay.
a abnormal fear of a gun that we have in the house. Just we have, like I said, we got wild animals here. I don't have cops right next to us, so
Right. So you want to stress gun responsibility.
exactly.
Right. And I think that's important. How do you think those things get vetted? Because gun responsibility could still be subjective. You know that, right?
Oh, of course. But I mean, any topic we're talking about right now could be subjective. Like I said,
Right.
like I
So
said, you know, um, Chronicle Heights was saying when I said that some states allow abortion up to birth without any restrictions. He said that's a Republican talking point. But all you could do is a simple Google search and see like California and Virginia are two states that allow well, not Virginia anymore. California allows abortion up to birth with no restrictions, meaning it doesn't even have to be the mother's health.
and how many are reported as being last minute abortion?
Well, no, it doesn't matter how many numbers. It's still in the law. It shouldn't matter how many numbers of people have used it. It's still in the law that states if she's 9 months pregnant and there's nothing wrong with her and she wants to abort it, she could abort it. That's sick.
Yeah,
Come on,
because
you have to forgive me.
I've always remembered the argument on abortion on one side. There was always that extreme that to them it was
No,
like no matter
but
what,
that
no abortion.
no, and I think that's two sides of the same coin because you got the people who want to be abortion, no restrictions, and then you got the people who want to restrict abortions completely.
Yeah, but
Those are two
you realize the whole abortion situation became a talking point just to basically sell to buy votes
but
because
but it goes on
no
both
no
sides. Both sides,
no because the thing is liberals had to go on and do what they're protecting a woman's autonomy, right?
dude.
What
But
what,
listen,
what many
here
conservatives
you're gonna go. Both sides, okay, use
Mhm.
wedge issues like abortion, like gun control, like uh, capital punishment. They use those wedge issues, okay, and like taxes and all that stuff. They use those wedge issues to uh, galvanize the base to buy the votes.
well that but everybody but the thing is if you gain votes based on the issue, that's what politics are. But what I'm saying is that it was a contradiction and hypocrisy from the Republican Party using abortion to gain votes when in fact they to them it's not even about abortion. A perfect example
But
was
dude, you see
Herschel Walker.
but here's
Herschel Walker was
this
a
is what I'm
perfect
talking about.
example of that.
No,
No,
before
no.
you go, but you're going into these examples. But this is what I'm telling you. I could show you examples of the same stuff on the left.
Okay, what I'm saying is, that
you could show me Herschel Walker, and I could show you like what was that guy's name? The guy who ran for vice president, Edwards.
okay,
Who was pushing his mistress to get an abortion while he was while he just after he ran for vice president because he wanted to run for vice president and
right.
he didn't want the scandal.
He ended up.
There's there's uh, there's examples
And what
of both
happened with him?
sides
And
of
what
the
happened with him
hypocrisy,
after that? I'm talking about Herschel Walker was running
right?
for
No,
senator in Georgia.
I
Herschel
understand what
Walker,
you're
wait a
saying.
minute, I'm
No,
only
but
pointing out
dude,
the abortion
you're
part.
gonna. But what I'm trying
But
to.
you're not letting me bring that
No,
part.
but
You're not letting me bring up that point.
I'm trying to end the show, and I'm trying to tell you that you
Okay.
could show me Herschel Walker, and I could show you other people. There's
Yeah,
examples
but
of hypocrisy
Herschel Walker is
on
a
both
perfect
sides.
example of the fact that to
Herschel
Republicans,
Walker,
it wasn't about abortion. It was never about abortion. It's about getting votes.
but it's
Because
just,
the thing is, in that same idea, considering their ideology, especially because obviously the whole argument on abortion came from the Catholic Church, right? But they were the ones that were fighting for that. That to them, they were strict about it. You have a guy who has a long track record of what he did, and while they would go on and lambast anybody on any level because it was about votes, to them they were like, no, we can forgive him. It's like, okay, you're either going to support something and stand by it, or you're just going to let it be pandered upon with you. That was the example I was just saying. That it just basically realized that the argument on abortion, while we both on the same side on it, but I'm just saying the argument about abortion within the political
yeah,
platform is just used for votes, and it's not.
but
They
here's
don't
the
really
whole thing.
support it.
But it's the whole thing. It's not just it's not just one side that uses abortion because here's the whole thing. Obama, when he got into presidency, right? He had the Senate, he had the House, and he had his presidency.
Hmm.
At any point during those 4 years, he could have made abortion the law of the land.
Codified.
He could have codified it, but they didn't. Why? Because they could always come back to it as an issue to raise funds and to get votes.
I think the Democrats dropped the ball on that one. No, I know.
They didn't drop the ball about it. They don't care because
No, but I'm saying
they use it
but
just how you were talking about how the right was using it for votes. The left
mhm.
and the Democrats use it for votes. They didn't drop the ball.
Right.
They just didn't care enough
They
to
dropped
pass
the
the
ball
law.
because I think they got
No,
comfortable. No, I'm
no,
saying I think they dropped the ball because they got
no,
comfortable on it.
because
Not,
they were able to
not.
use it as a wedge issue. It's like Obama, okay, like gay marriage. Okay, gay marriage. Obama, when he ran in 2008, he was I'm against gay marriage, man. Marriage is against a man and a woman. The minute the Supreme Court passed legalized gay marriage, right? Oh, well, now Obama's for gay marriage, even though he never ran for it on his
He
platform.
never ran on it.
But now I'm for gay marriage. And it's like, but that's, they use these issues, both sides, and that's what I'm just trying to tell you, because I understand that we're different on our left versus right on most issues, probably, maybe not all, but maybe most. But
Like I said, I'm talking about that table. The more we have more discussions, the more we realize
I know.
we have a lot
But
of
what I'm
time.
saying is, but you blame one side. I blame both sides. That's why I like about Don. Don blames both sides. Don doesn't just go, "Oh, well, the Republicans are, horrible," and but Don will go, "No, fuck the Democrats, fuck the Republicans. They both suck," and you're defending the Democrats, like you just said. The Democrats dropped the ball. Well, no,
Yeah, I
because
said that the reason why I'm
you're
calling them out on that. I didn't realize that.
giving them
I
a
wasn't
pass.
even aware that it could have been codified like in that manner where being that in order to protect it, they should have codified it and they didn't. And if they
Yeah.
knew it, I'm like, you know what? They fucked up. I'm like, I'll be the first. That was
But it's
sad.
not,
But
but you said it dropped the ball, but it's not that they dropped the ball, is that there's certain issues, okay? Neither party wants to
to disappear.
because they could use it to galvanize their votes. And
Well, there's always that argument that basically gets people to sway. It was always abortion. Like in the 80s, it was capital punishment. Gun control just started growing from like the 90s on. But now you have really just two, because they don't even bring up capital punishment like they used to. So it's usually the gun control issue and the abortion issue. Those are galvanizing issues. That I know what you're saying. That one is using it for the sake of
I'll
gaining
give you
votes.
one, but maybe we could get into it another time. Is the trans
Okay.
issue?
Don't get me started on that shit.
Next week.
Okay.
Next week.
I know. If we start talking about that right now, it's gonna be a longer conversation. I'm gonna get canceled.
So, go back to some of my other shows. You'll see I've had trans people on my show who are against the trans stuff with the kids.
Really?
Yes. Go back. I have Buck Angel on my show. Check out that show.
Mhm.
He's great. And I had another trans person called Laura. I forgot, Laura Sky or something like that. If you check out both of these people who are trans, who are against the training of the kids, and
Mhm.
that's the one issue where I tell you where people don't think it through. It's just a tribal issue. If you're Democrat, you don't think about it. You go, Democrats are pro-trans, and so I'll leave it there because at least we have. It sounds like that's another thing that we have an agreement on.
That's
So
gonna
like,
be
we
a.
don't
That's
have-
gonna be a. No. When you do it, please holla at me, because wow.
Well, like and subscribe to my channel, and
I will do.
check it out and see. We may not agree, and hey,
No,
no.
I'm gonna disagree with you on you saying that, because you don't have to worry. I love disagreeing. That's called a conversation. That's the power there.
To the comments, and I'll put it up there because you saw I was putting up Heights Chronicle till I couldn't take it no more. It was like this stuff was over the top. It's like
Somebody always got to be on some end entertaining. I know what you mean.
All right. Well, Don, thanks. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for bringing your friend on, because it was a really good conversation.
Word.
We've seen each other a lot more.
All right.
Yo, the right Rican. Yo, everybody have a good night. Thank you for tuning in. Y ya tú sabes. Pa'lante, mi gente.
Peace.
Peace.